Hey guys, it's Charlotte here today. So I am in the kitchen, just chopping up a few things. So in my refrigerator today, I did have some cabbage, some green cabbage, some red cabbage, as well as some onion, some um, some ginger, and some carrots, amongst a little bit of other things. So and I did have some ground pork. So today I'm going to utilize what's in my refrigerator, what's in my freezer, and try to build on that and just make something quick and something easy, which is going to be the egg rolls. So we have two different types of egg rolls as well as a sauce. So meet me back in the kitchen. And once again, I already started with some cabbage. So I have some shredded cabbage here. So meet me back and let's begin to chop. Alrighty, guys. So I've already started shredding some cabbage right here. Just thinly slice this a little bit, as we call maybe a chiffonade, but it's thinly sliced. As well as I have some fresh ginger that I grated in here as well. So I mixed that up together. So we're gonna do the rest of the cabbage, as well as I have some red cabbage as well that we're gonna put in this and start building on those egg rolls. So and I do have a sauce, like I said, that I'm gonna whip up, and we're gonna put that in there as well. So the sauce is a sauce that I usually use anyway when I'm doing my well, let me back up. So I have a special sauce that I actually use, which I'm gonna do that video as well of those chicken katina burritos. So the sauce is pretty good, and I also did some chicken katina egg rolls as well. So it is basically what I already have, and I usually have some Chipotle sauce, and I mix that Chipotle sauce up because they're whole Chipotle. So I mix those up. I put it in my blender or put it in food processor, whichever is easier for you. And I have that, as well as a little bit of sour cream to sort of thin it out and tone down the heat on that as well. And then you have a little bit more, a few more spices, which I'll give you that ingredients, well, the remaining of those ingredients as well when I get ready to do it. But that's just the base of it. Is going to have that Chipotle sauce, as well as the sour cream, and I do have some Cajun seasoning that I put in there, as well as a little bit more hot sauce, as well as a little bit of ranch dressing. So stick around for that, and we're gonna do that sauce, and you'll see everything else once I complete it. So I'm going to chop up the rest of these ingredients. So I do have, like I said, I do have the cabbage, the green cabbage, as well as onions, as well as ginger that's already in here. And then I have some purple onion that I'm going to thinly slice. And I'm sorry, purple cabbage. Purple cabbage, I'm sorry. I'm thinking about red onions because I just took my red onions out the bag over here and put them to the side. So got the purple cabbage, which I'm going to chiffonade these as well and put them in there. So I do have another video, guys, that I'll be doing knife cuts on there. So if you're interested in the knife cuts, so it will be your basic knife cuts, which will be your large dice, your small dice, and your medium dice. You got your chiffonade, you got your batonnet, as well as we're gonna tornade some vegetables as well. So if you've ever eaten out at a very nice restaurant and you have a plate full of nice cuts, especially, let's just say your tournée, which it has 8 sides on there. So if you ever had a really, some components on your plate, and basically when you go out to a lot of these restaurants, you're basically paying for the knife cuts, especially if you have, a really nice dish. So you're paying for those knife cuts, but why pay for them? You can definitely do them at home yourself. So just a matter of you having a really good knife, and just getting that technique down, which is really simple. So right now, like I said, I'm just basically just thinly slicing, or you can call it chiffonade. these red cabbage. So stick around for that video too, so you'll be on the lookout for that basically, because you definitely want to get those knife cuts down, so you'll be able to utilize that as well. And they do come in handy. They definitely come in handy. So, you know, especially if you're going to host, you know, you have that under your belt, you'll be able to utilize that, and your guests will definitely appreciate it. Because let me tell you, it's nothing like a really good dish that you can actually ooh and ah over, especially with those really nice knife cuts. So I believe you'll actually really appreciate that as well. So we're going to build on the rest of these, and I am finished right now with these. So I actually have, like I said, you got the purple cabbage as well as the green cabbage, and your ginger, as well as your I grated some onion in here as well. All right, so I have already fixed the sauce and some of the things that I put in the sauce. So I did some chipotle sauce, as well as a little bit of ranch, as well as some sour cream. I did some cilantro, as well as a cilantro lime sauce. So I just experiment with a few things. So the sauces, instead of doing the traditional sweet and sour sauce or your duck sauce or whatnot, so trying to change up the sauces whenever I'm actually doing some egg rolls. So in addition to the sweet as well as the salty, sort of break the monotony a little bit, and just change up with some of the things I do have that are already in my cabinet as well as in my refrigerator. And then also we have the filling right here. This one has pork, as well as the red cabbage, as well as the green cabbage, and your carrots, as well as some ginger, and I I grated some onions, and then some of the seasonings that I have in here. So I actually put some of this sauce in here, which is your Japanese sauce, and it actually has soy sauce, ginger, and garlic in here. So put some of that in there, as well as some regular grated garlic. Some granulated garlic, as well as some onion powder, and I did some mirin in there, as well as some regular soy sauce, and I did the low sodium, so you don't have to worry about that extra salt content, because if you need to add additional salt, you just add a little bit more salt. And I did some rice wine vinegar in there as well. So you see it right there. Now this is the and also one of my neighbors, not to mean to break what I was getting ready to say, but one of my neighbors is actually from he's from Japan, and he makes his own sauces. So he gave me this to try out, and his name is Clark. He's one of my neighbors. So I'm trying this out, which is actually pretty good. So this is like my second time using this, and I put it in some rice as well, but I also added in this one with the pork. So we're gonna see how that tastes. But when I did it in the fried rice, it was really good. So this is the sauce that he actually made, and it actually has garlic in there, so it requires refrigeration as well. So we're going to try that, which I've already tried it in there, and it actually tastes really good, and it has a very, very good smell to it. So if you want to try this out, and you don't necessarily have to use the same ingredients, but this is what I also had in the refrigerator as well as in the cabinet. So try it out and just sort of make it your own. Like I said, you don't necessarily have to use what I'm using, but in the event if you happen to, and if you would like Clark seasoning, I would tell Clark, or just message me, and I would give the information to you, and you can get it from Clark yourself. But like I said, just make it your own. You don't necessarily have to do that. So, and that's all in the process of building and trying to get familiar with your taste buds. So building it to your standard and going from there. So So the shells, guys, these are regular shells. Got these from the store. So this is the brand, which is a very familiar brand. So the regular egg roll wraps is what I have. And you can get it from almost anywhere. So here in Georgia, you know, we have Publix and Kroger's and Ingles here. So I just wet the sides with a little bit of water. So we're just gonna fold these. It's been a minute since I did some egg rolls, believe it or not. So I'm just gonna fold these over really quick and tuck the sides in, and just go from there. So you can, if you want it double, you can do it double, but I'm trying to minimize the dough and just keep it just simple with just one layer. So once again, just add those in there, and I do have, like I said, this one has pork, which was in my refrigerator, and then I also have the veggie, which I season the veggie the same way. So, and you can add just pretty much any vegetable you want to add in there. I was tempted to do some bell peppers and onions. Like I said, you don't have to be traditional with it. It's utilizing whatever is in your cabinet and whatever's in your refrigerator. And this just happened to be in mine today. So we're just using these and building from there. And then I do have the dipping sauce as well. So the dipping sauce, I actually have like I said, the Chipotle seasoning, as well as some sour cream and some ranch, amongst a few other seasonings over there. So, which you can actually use it on pretty much anything. You can use it on burritos or what have you. So it's like a multi-purpose seasoning if you wanted to do that as well. So we're gonna roll a few of these up, and we're gonna set, I have the grease back here already ready to go in the pot, and it's gonna be about 350, 375. And we're gonna drop a few of those in and get a nice crispy texture on those, and dip a little bit in the sauce and go from there. Also, guys, you know what I forgot to mention too? So like I said, I do have water here as my binder for the wraps, but keep in mind now, you can also use egg wash. And whenever you're using the egg yolk, we're just going to do just the egg yolk itself. You know, you can mix it with a little bit of water. But I just prefer just to use the water for this right here, because I don't want to use the egg. Especially like whenever I'm doing maybe like a crust or something or another, or, you know, something else, I'd use the egg wash. So the egg wash actually, whenever you're doing like a crust, the egg wash actually gives it that shine. It gives it that sheen. And it brings out the caramelization on top of it, especially like something like a pot pie. So if I do a pot pie, and I have maybe like a double layer, which is a crust on the bottom and a crust on the top. So I would do the top part, and I would utilize the egg wash on there, and it gives it an extra sheen, like I said. And then it gives it an extra the crust on there, so you get a nice golden brown on top of the crust, no matter what you're using that for. So I just wanted to basically just tell you about that. So to each his own. Some people still utilize it, but it depends on, you know, case by case basis for me. So once again, you know, you can utilize whatever you want to utilize. If you're used to using the egg wash, then absolutely go forward, utilize it. But if not, you know, no harm, no foul. And I'm getting ready to drop a few of these on in, and you're going to see how golden brown they look, as well as the dipping sauce that's going to go along with it. So get ready to drop it in the oil, like I said, at 375. All right, so guys, I just finished with the egg rolls. So I am going to go ahead and plate these up so you can see exactly what they look like, and actually try some with the dipping sauce. So like I said, I do have the pork as well as the veggie as well. So for the vegetable lovers, so You can utilize any kind of vegetable you want to utilize, which will be ideal for the stuffing. So so we're gonna try that out. And you know what? Forgive me because I look like I have allergies, so I look like I look rough. So once again, my apologies, but the sinuses are really, really, really bad, as you can tell. So my medication, which I do just a regular pill, but it do make you drowsy. So trying to get past that, and I don't want to be clearing my throat and doing all that stuff too. So my apologies, but we're gonna try these egg rolls out. And once again, just utilizing stuff that's already in your refrigerator. So this is the savory. If you want to do something sweet, which is really good. So if you have like peaches, or I mean even pears or sweet potatoes or whatever you want to utilize for this for the sweet, you can also do that as well to make something that's really just simple, just something simple by utilizing once again what's already in your refrigerator. So I am gonna have another video talking about the things that are in your pantry, as well as some of the components in your refrigerator, as well as your freezer. So building doing the meal preps basically off of what you already have on hand. So then if even if you're doing that, then maybe you only need maybe one more component to go with that, to sort of stretch that. Just basically building on that, because let me tell you, the way the economy is going, and I do have a video on that too. So the way the economy going, let me tell you, you need to save as much money as possible and try to stretch those meals, especially if you have kids. So if you have kids, this will be perfect. So get your shopping list down and prepare or plan ahead before you go into the grocery store. So you don't be, spending money that you don't have, or, money that you should be spending on impulse. So build those grocery lists. And like myself, let me tell you, I basically go around to at least 3 different grocery stores. So Publix may have something, because they do have buy one get one free. They may have something that Kroger's don't have, as well as Ingles. And then there's certain things that I get from Walmart as well. So basically 4 stores. And then you have a few other places that I go to try to get stuff. But I basically shop according to my budget and according to whatever's in my refrigerator, as well as whatever's in my freezer. So if I can also build a meal off of something, then absolutely. Just like tomorrow, I'm going to make red beans and rice. So I have some smoked turkey, I have some sausage, I have bell peppers, and I have onions, and as well as I have rice and I have pinto beans. So I'm gonna do red beans and rice tomorrow. So that's just one idea that that you can sort of play around with by like I said, just utilizing some of those things that you already have on hand, so that you don't have to spend unnecessary money. Because once again, the economy, it is getting worse before it gets better. And we just got back. I don't mean to talk your head off, but we just got back from Missouri from my son's graduation in the military. And let me tell you, the gas prices there was not bad. But let me tell you, in California, it's almost $10 a gallon, which is really crazy. So for us, it was like $2.64, and that was the cheapest gas that I have seen in a minute. So here in Georgia, we're paying like $2.80 something, not quite $3, but still. But $2.64 was perfect, because we drove a Suburban, so which was really, really good on the gas. But let's get back to egg rolls. So we're gonna plate a few of these up, and I'm gonna cut into one, and we're gonna go from there. And we're gonna try the dipping sauce out as well, and I'll let you see how those look in just a minute. So I'm gonna bring these over to the side and pull these out over here, and I'll cut into one and go from there and try the dipping sauce once again. All right, so I actually went ahead and cut a few of these. So, I don't know if you guys can see. So, it just fell down. So I just did a few little shakes of parsley, dry parsley, because I did my own dry parsley. So I have a video for that too. which I am going to get that out. But show you how to dry parsley as well, dry other herbs. But this is one of them. So just cut it on the inside. And I'm not going to dip it down. I'm just going to dip a little bit of sauce on here. And we're going to try a little bit of this out. So don't judge me, okay? Mm-hmm. It's very good. Very, very, very good. So I don't know if you can hear that, but it is crunchy. So once again, try it out. You know, there's more than one way of making egg rolls, and then adding whatever flavors you want to add in there. The choice is yours. So everybody's taste buds are totally different. So I encourage you to experiment with your taste buds, and you know, don't sort of think one-sided. Because like I say, you know, there's more than one way of making egg rolls. You make them however you want to make them. Because you're utilizing what is in your refrigerator as well as your freezer, as well as in your pantry. So the whole idea of cooking is to, you know, prepare it your way. So, you know, my way may not be the best way, but like I said, this is what I utilized that was on hand. So it saved me the trouble from going to the grocery store and purchasing stuff all over again. So instead of throwing stuff out, which everything was really good, produce was still fresh, but I just wanted to try something different and do something different because I haven't cooked egg rolls and God knows when. So my daughter's here as well as my granddaughter's here, so we're just gonna eat a few egg rolls and call it quits. So once again, guys, thank you for sticking around. This is Charlotte. I will see you on the next go round. So until the meantime, be blessed and be a blessing to someone else. So I am out. Until next time, and I do expect you to like as well as share this video and subscribe if you have not subscribed. So until next time, guys, I am out. Peace.